Welcome, welcome. Hi. Hmm. So, 2025 solstice, winter solstice for the Northern Hemisphere. Hmm. Definitely a time of year where all cultures celebrate, you know, because there's this sense of standing still, standing still. Solstice means standing still, sun standing still. And all the celebrations of light that come into play, the light of new beginnings, freshness. There's like this expectancy feeling, like the world is pregnant with potential. And that's something to really sink into in these times. Embody, not just with our intellectual understanding of that, but finding that reflection within us of the standing still. Standing still, free of history and full of fresh, new potential beginning. It can sound, I don't know what the word is, like too hopeful or an argument with reality or something. In sometimes in history, this time in history, but it's the truth. And the beautiful, wondrous, indescribable, inexpressible, amazing mystery of it all is that stillness, that freshness, that potential is none other than all of you. This is none other. It's not out there. It's not a light that we will get through achievement. We'll find outside of ourselves. We'll find a light somewhere outside of ourselves and bring it or retrieve it somewhere that we may have lost it or all the stuff. It is here now as these expressions, and it is palpable and livable and experienceable. So all of that to say welcome to the solstice gathering, but I'm very happy we're all here together. So grateful to Ty for opening the space. So grateful for the Zoomers and the people that travel through weather and for taking time out on this sacred Saturday to acknowledge what is here beyond the appearance of the world of separation and the belief in that, the belief in separateness, and the belief that there could be some greater place than right here, some wiser place than right here. Some more peaceful, more loving place than right here. Which is not to say that all of our work is done. Or that we don't have to practice, because I don't know about you, but there are still plenty of appearances showing up as division, showing up as opposition, showing up as belief. There's this stillness. I really would like to bring that forward. We'll sit quietly here in just a little bit, but evidently the talk wants to come, so here comes the talk. It's a stillness. It's an immovability. The conceptual mind can't obviously understand that, because it's always moving, deciding, categorizing, conceptualizing. That's its job. That's okay. That which has never moved. When Dr. Hawkins was getting close to physical transformation that we call death, people would be like, where will you, they wanted information from the guru, information from the master. Where are you going? Where are you going? And he would just laugh and say, where would I go? Where would I go? Because the I of experience was absolutely no longer identified with coming and going in that expression. The I was ever is. This immovability, this silent ground stillness that has no, it's not in contrast or opposition to that which moves. It's not of that realm. It's the heart suture. It's never sutra. It's never been born. It's never died. It doesn't come. It doesn't go. It's not of the dimension of changingness. It's mysterious that way. It's beyond the concepts that want to nail something down as this or that, this or that. That's okay if we realize that that's not fundamentally true. If we think it's fundamentally true, that separation is fundamentally true, then we suffer, suffer, suffer. But this roar of stillness is so powerful that the sinking, the giving away of attention to that will revolutionize your life, and consequently all of life, because what is in one is in the whole. And there's nothing here but eternal wholeness. Eternal wholeness. That is. You could call it interconnectedness. It's not a bad word. I just don't find it completely close enough to the reality. Because what is there to connect if there's not two. So when we say interconnectedness, we can get a little bit into a trap. So I'm not dissing on the word. I know it's a beautiful word. The great unity, the great interconnectedness. It's whole, eternally whole, never divided, never divided, never divided, never divided, never divided. It's a mystery. I wanted to read this from the book of Psalms. We could go into what that is, but let's not. The great mystery acts within every moment and creates the world with each breath. It speaks from the center of the universe in the silence, the stillness beyond all thought. Mightier than the crash of a thunderstorm, mightier than the roar of the sea, is Creator's voice silently speaking in the depths of a listening heart. We can have big experiences. They come and go. Sometimes they can be real wild in spiritual unfolding. They can be up, they can be down, they can be all kinds of things. Or they can be very subtle right from the beginning. But the deeper unfolding is silently speaking. And so we miss it and we say, I lost it. I had it on the street in the year 1993. And I remember it so well. And everything was open and everything was vast. And the reason I'm bringing this forward is I hear this in sessions and one-on-ones, and I wanted to bring it forward today to just alleviate the worry. I mean, why do we think the universe is going to show up exactly the same way every time? I mean, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. That's what awakening looks like. And it's mainly based on what Dr. Hawkins used to call the juice of coming and going. And as it gets quieter and quieter and quieter and quieter and quieter and quieter, more still. And self-reflection falls away, and there's not even the movement of self-reflection. And there's not the movement of description, and there's not the movement of categorizing, and there's not the movement of me. It's silently speaking in a listening heart. Mightier than thunder, mightier than the roar of the sea, and complete. And so the remnants of a me, it's okay. It's okay. This is how it happens. Start freaking out because there's nothing going on and there's no big experiences and that person's getting it and I'm not, and it's not, boldly flashing forward in my dreams, and it's not, this and that. It's a deconstruction, not an addition process. It's not an addition process. It's not an adding to. self. Now, it's not getting a new self, a more spiritual one. It's a deconstruction. It's a return. It's a return. It's a homecoming. And this homecoming is reflected in this solstice day, where we stand still, naked of history and decision, and the world has to look this way. And if I'm a good person, well, then there must be bad people. Do we get that? Do we get that? It's naked of all that. And that's where that fresh beginningless beginning of creation, that is every instantaneous, holy instant, can be brought into existence through the listening heart. And if we're listening, we're not deciding, right? We're listening. We're listening. The mind can start making a decision that it has to be either or. This really transcendent place of what we've labeled true nature. Or the messy mess of the me. The life. But we're discovering, right? And I'm preaching to the choir a little bit, I know that. But we're discovering that one can stand as peacefulness, as stillness, as silent immovability, and live through this unique, wondrous, indescribable beauty of expression. A celebratory creation. That's our birthright. Celebratory creation. We have so many other ideas, even in spiritual circles. There's so many other ideas about awakened consciousness. Now, serious ideas, real serious ideas. Celebratory creation. I'm not talking about narcissistic indulgence. The ego could hear it that way. The thing about it is you'll know it because it is completely not self-centered. It delights in itself. And what is itself? The reflection it sees. If I could, yeah. I've told this story before. Sometimes anecdotes are fun in a talk. When that view, let's call it a view, opened up, meaning not that it was new, but that it was original. And the curtains had opened. The hands came off the eyes. So the original view came into view. The love of everything was disabling, and frankly, not well received. Oh boy. I mean, people were repulsed by it. Not everyone. And the I love you, is not cool with strangers, of which there were none. So it can be kind of disarming. It can be a radical shift, for sure. Radical shift. But what I'm trying to get at is the ego can co-opt a spiritual realization through a mental conception. And so the idea of radiant transparency, liberated wholeheartedness, can start looking like narcissistic indulgence because it's an idea. It's not a realization. And there can be an idea of like, well, I just will creatively celebrate, baby. It'll be all about me. Well, maybe we would all need to look again if that's happening for us. I don't think that's anyone here, but it doesn't, it's good for all of us, like Papa G says, to stay vigilant for that backdoor sort of grabbing on to a teaching. I'm sure many of you are discovering this and experiencing it. And the reason I use the word fresh is because every one of us knows the soundtrack of the me. I mean, we know it. We have a particular one, and it's our particular one. But we know it. It's like it's a totally well-worn track, and it's like grabbing a pacifier when you're upset, just slide into that well-worn track and you start, okay, yeah, right. You just got to soothe yourself with it. And we know them. We know them. And what starts to happen, maybe this is happening for you, are these super fresh thoughts. Like, fresh. It was startling here. I would think, where the hell is that coming from? What is it? It'd be like, am I on candid camera? Or is people piping in a new playlist? Yes. Because there's somebody at the center listening. More accurately, there's nobody at the center listening, but listening is listening. Oh, so I guess what I'm trying to get at is that there's so we can stay in, and I'm talking about this in that sense of there'll never be enough good to like counteract all the down spiraling that seems to be going on, and that's true. There will never be enough personally generated agenda goodness, goodness that is absolutely dependent on its opposite. That will never happen. That resolution. That's not a thing. But the basic, essential, fundamental, silent, still goodness that is, peacefulness that is, loving kindness that is. It is. It's not manufactured through a human mind or a human heart, as glorious as those human hearts are. It's not. It's discovered and remembered and returned to its originality through awakened consciousness. And this is why we have deep instruction from Adyashanti to be still. Question every thought and contemplate the source of reality. Super simple, really, and super challenging. Even in, there can be a time when self, what we all called self, doesn't really exist in the experience. Even in that, there are challenges because subconscious belief systems come forward to be disbelieved. Disbelieved. And we can have periods of time where we're pretty good at getting quiet, questioning what's coming up. You know, everyone here is pretty mature in that. But it's really time, in my humble opinion, to contemplate the source of reality. In other words, as my friend Stephen, who became Karma Choying, said at retreat one time, keep your eye on God. Sweet, innocent Karma Choying. Whatever word you want to use, love thy Creator with all your heart. Yeah, we have to walk through this appearance world. So many of the people in the Sangha this year have had deep things to walk through: cancer, surgeries, deaths. Just the world in general, disabilities, all kinds of things we've all experienced as a group here. But the living, the art of living, the living of it is very different from a consolidated me, which not many of us are still there, but me, and liberated, eternal wholeness, being the view as one gives wholeheartedly to the life. Not separate, it's not separate. We can hang out in transcendent places once in a while, because it does feel completely at peace, completely well. In the midst of deep grief, deep challenging physical stuff, it all feels well and, peaceful. But bringing that, what did it say? That standing at the still point of the turning world. That's a T.S. Eliot quote. Standing at the still point of the turning world and giving way as creative potential, unthinking, responsively immediate, unconcerned with self-safety. is not something our egos can generate. We can't do it from there. And we can continue fighting this battle of good and evil and pretend that there is actually something like that. You know, my favorite example is Dr. Hawkins used to say, if you start believing in darkness, walk into a room and turn on the light. Darkness isn't a thing. You don't turn on darkness. It's non-existent. The only thing darkness is an absence of light. It has no self-existence. It has no power. Keep our eyes, contemplate the source of reality. I mean, please don't, whatever languaging works for you, but Holy Spirit, give me eyes to see. We are deeply habituated to the belief in good and bad. I mean, it's deeper than I would have ever imagined. You would think that one would be an easy one to let go of, question into. It's from the beginning of time. It's from the beginning of time. Believing that there is more than one power. Believing in two. Believing in division. Believing in this and that. As a fundamental, essential part of this world. That's why when they wake up out of it, all these masters that are in the caravan ahead of us, I know people think they're behind us, but to me, they're out there ahead. Have said, it's like a dream in the night when you wake up out of it. You thought it was absolutely real, like the world depended on it. Like that is the world. That is the world. And all of a sudden, what? That's just an imposition of belief upon the basic giving way of uncaused love. This is really hard to face. I'm so humbly honored that you all are here today and that we can talk about this. It's not really very acceptable to go out into the world or we try to say that, there's only one power, and that we sort of have to let that power take the wheel. That's not a super popular thing. Not that I've found. Even in spiritual circles, honestly. There is a real habituated movement towards the laws of cause and effect, which, okay, yeah, if I drop this water bottle on my foot, it's going to hurt. I get it. I get that there's gravity. But there's also the silent ground of being that pretty much everyone here, that's no longer just an abstract concept. And there's no division. And there's no judging presence there deciding we need a world of karma to punish these people so that they can get over themselves. I mean, come on, guys. The ground of being, the consciousness is not in the ground of being, the consciousness is here. Consciousness is sitting on top of reality. Judging, deciding, believing. My sister gave me this sticker on my water bottle, love is love. Well, yeah, that's all it is. It isn't deciding to love. It isn't rewarding to love. It's indiscriminate. It's uncaused. It's original. It just is what it is. It's not even, it would be like water having to be consciously wet. It's just not how it works. Love is just love. Unconsciously. And I don't mean that in the way that, like Freud, or when we talk about our mind, I'm saying it doesn't need consciousness it doesn't reflect. It just is as it is, as it is, as it is. Love is love as it is, as it is, as it is. It gives way. And then there's this human beingness that has consciousness and self-consciousness. And it started believing itself to be something. It started to believe it was something. And that it had power, both good and bad. And the illuminating power, love, doesn't say, well, you can't think that way. Don't think that way, because that's not loving. It just loves everything into existence through the medium of consciousness. It's within and as. It's within and as. It's within and as. So here, I take a lot of solace in this gathering, our togetherness. And I take a lot of solace in be still, question every thought, and contemplate the source of reality. It's the way of love. It opens that view. But it takes some devotion, some steadfastness, some disbelieving. It's the one we have a really hard time with. We just don't want to disbelieve what we believe, especially once it starts getting spiritual. We think we're going to land in the place of knowing. Oh boy. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing. Think you're going to land in the place of knowing. And it can feel that way with big realization. Oh boy. The mystery is 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 the mystery, silently speaking. So we're developing, right? The capacity to any word I say is just not right. It's too much doing. There's too much doing in every word that just came into my mind. There's too much doing. We're developing the capacity to, I could say relax, even that's a little too much doing. Receive. We did a satsang this year about, just how to anchor in times like these, where we remember our deepest, visceral, embodied sense of spirit, awareness, the great mystery. Remember it. Reorient to it. Reorient. Change the compass north to that remembering. Reorient. That rewires the wiring for receiving. Receiving. Call it grace. Maybe that, if you don't like that word, here it's grace. Receiving. Remember, reorient, rewire, receive. It's not usual for us, right? Maybe some of you have a real innate quality with it. I don't know. That could just be, I don't run across it like in one-on-ones and stuff very often. Most people are having to sort of relax out of the agenda, the life's agenda, or it just gets kind of knocked out. And you're walking around going, wow, like life goes on. I mean, and I know I can see that some of you relate. Life actually is more intelligent than the agenda of the me. It's a crazy feeling, is it not? When that's realized, like, oh my God. Wow. And then it's so freaking obvious. The me didn't make the grass grow or the sun go up and the sun go down or any of the stuff. It basically just had a big agenda for everything that was then, by the grace of God, through original love, delivered. Delivered. So yeah, it's a really different experience, and I know you all know it. The difference between just a true encounter with whatever's going on in our life, be it dissolution of the physical body, which is super hard, the death of a loved one, whatever it might be. If we live that through and as this contemplation of reality, the source of reality, through that lens, it's a very, very different experience than if we live it through our pain and fear and suffering. Not that we're not going to have pain. That's not what I'm saying. And I'm not saying rise above your pain. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about the quality of experience. Even in the depths of deep personal stuff, you just still want to give when you're living from that other place. I'm thinking about sweet Sharon back there in the back row. You don't even know how you're doing it or why you would be doing it, because the me is like, take care of me. We're going through a hard time. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not how it naturally starts to flow. That's all I'm saying. It just doesn't flow that way. Okay. What else do I got to read here? And we'll take a break. So I'm going to read something out of the Blessings of the Cosmos. All about new beginnings. The beginningless beginning. The beginning that is always a beginning. Right? Each moment is always a beginning. And maybe some of you have actually had the experience. Once you've had the experience, you will never be the same. I tell it all the time. It's probably getting really boring. What did Sharon Landreth say? She's like, but I like my stories. I was like, I like your stories too. I think we all do, but this can be experienced. That's why I'm always doing this. It can be experienced as like a light switch. Complete non-existence, all of existence. Complete non-existence, all of existence. And once that has happened, once you've had that experience, you go, oh, I get it. Each moment is so beyond precious as far as creative potential. That just has taken over the life here. That's all that's left, is wanting to serve that in any way that I can. In this clumsy human format, but that's what's left. Because and I tell him, please, I'm not speaking to our egos. I'm not speaking to an ego who wants to co-create. I'm not speaking to that. That is something different than what I'm talking about. And is fine, but it's limited. I'm talking about something that has never seen a limit. There's nothing remotely like that there. Limitless. The animating power of each moment. The animating power of existence. This speaks to that. Why not absorb yourself in that work? Here is newly plowed earth ready for a crop of guidance and illumination through grace. Jump into the whirlpool of wisdom, the impassioned spiral of understanding yourself. Here's the peace you're looking for. the softening of the heart's rigid feelings and thoughts. In my way, this is in the way, let's say, in this way, you will find a refuge of renewable energy within the struggle and grasping of the subconscious soul. In this way, when you wrestle for the knowledge of self, the self you find rests. It rests. It steps down. It rests. And you still find yourself moving and acting and loving and crying and being a human being, but from the position, if you want to call it that, of no position, of I don't know where I'm going, but I know I'm going to go.